First of all, spoilers. Secondly, what an amazing episode. We've finally gotten a backstory for King, and it's a pretty damn interesting one at that. We learned that King wasn't the king of demons, but is instead baby boy. But not just any baby boy. He's the son of a seemingly very powerful demon. In this video, I want to take a look at who King's dad might have been, as well as what might have happened to him. Just one quick thing before I start. A lot more of you have been watching my Owl House videos, which is super awesome. However, most of you aren't subscribing, and I crave power. Please help support the channel today by hitting that sub button, and so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. Or else. Thanks, guys.
Yes! Yes! I can feel my powers returning!
With that out of the way, let's get back to finding out who King's dad was. The carvings in the ruins seem to depict King's dad as extremely powerful, as well as impressively large. A total Chad, if you will. I mean, you have to be pretty strong and pretty big to lay an egg like that. If we take a look at this carving here, we can see that he's fighting off some sort of scary looking humanoid creature. It's notable that he's drawn predominantly white, and the other entity that he's fighting off in black. It's pretty universal that light represents good and that dark represents evil, so at the very least, it seems as if whoever drew the carvings saw King's dad as a force of good. Speaking of the carvings, Lilith calls them ancient. As such, it can be assumed that King's dad was, well, ancient. How ancient exactly? Well, Lilith said that these ruin symbols predate all known languages, so pretty damn old, I'd imagine. However, looking even closer, we might get an even bigger clue. Cosmic symbolism, stars specifically, seem to be prevalent throughout the entire ruins. This could mean a lot of things, but here's what I believe might make sense. Seeing as this island truly does seem prehistoric, it could represent King's dad being some ancient celestial god. In this carving, we can see hands reaching out to him, perhaps symbolic of worship. Perhaps he even commands the demon realm's stars themselves, as we see a meteor headed in the direction his spear is pointing. Whatever the case may be, it's at least safe to assume that King's dad is older and more powerful than your typical demon.
Small I may be, but you will soon know fear when I lay waste to all that you...
Being so ancient, it wouldn't be much of a stretch to imagine that King's dad and the Titan may have crossed paths at some point. Personally, I believe that King's dad actually had a deep connection with the Titan. To understand why, let's take a look at this creepy fella. Jean-Luc is perhaps the most interesting thing from this episode for me. I really dig his abstract design, and he gives me Major Majora's Mask vibes. Like, seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually inspired by that. While his appearance may look completely nonsensical at first, that doesn't mean there aren't intentional hints to his origins incorporated into his design. In particular, just look at those eyes. They have the same blue glow as Emperor Belos' eyes. As Emperor Belos is connected to the Titan, it could be that the magic used to create Jean-Luc was the same kind of magic as the Titan possesses. I don't know if this would be wild magic, or some kind of magic unique to King's dad and the Titan. But as we learn from the history lesson Kikimura gave us in Agony of a Witch, both ancient witches and demons practiced wild magic. As such, it's definitely possible for King's dad to have been one of those demons, and therefore it's possible he used wild magic to create Jean-Luc. So we found out pretty much everything we can about who King's dad was. Now let's finally address what might have happened to him. The biggest hint we've had in regards to his fate is that he shouted out for his son, King, before he disappeared. This is most definitely an indication that he was attacked, and most likely killed in my eyes. Typically, you don't shout for your loved one and then disappear for no reason. It seems like Belos has a habit of killing any powerful creature that might oppose him, even if they're otherwise peaceful like the Selkidamus. So Belos being the one to do the deed is a no-brainer. However, I believe there could be a stronger motive. Lilith mentions there being no historical texts of the island. To me, that sounds like Belos is trying to keep the island a secret for some reason. Now, it does sound as if the island typically doesn't reveal itself unless it wants to be found.
This island shouldn't be here. It's not on any of the maps.
It's always been there when I looked for it.
However, if there really was an attacker, and King's dad felt the need to have Jean-Luc standing guard, clearly unwanted visitors can find it. So why did Belos attack the island? Here's my idea. Bringing up Agony of a Witch again, we learn that the Emperor has painted a very one-sided history of his rise to power. He claimed that the wild magic practiced by demons and witches angered the Titan. In reality, we know that wild magic draws upon and is bestowed by the Boiling Isles themselves. And as we know, the Titan is the Isles. So I'm smelling BS. King's mysterious island is so ancient, there's a very high possibility that information pertaining to the origins of both the Boiling Isles and wild magic could be found here. With that being the case, Belos' version of history could be disproved. That would completely explain why he wants to keep the island a secret, as well as why he'd want to kill one of the only creatures likely privy to this knowledge, King's dad. So that begs the question, how did Belos defeat such a powerful entity? Probably by turning him into stone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to leave it a like if you did. Subscribe for more awesome content like this, and make sure to comment with your thoughts and theories down below. See you next time.